I'd like to welcome you to this edition on Channel 17 of the Candidate Q&As. I'm Janelle Pugmire with the Daily Herald. I cover the city of Provo. And today with us we have Carina Wytiaz, who's running for Citywide 2. And we're hoping that you give us some pretty fantastic answers, Carina. What I want you to do is give us a little bit about yourself, let the people see your face and know who you are, and make them feel comfortable that they're watching this for the right reason.
Okay. Hi, I am Carina Wytiaz, and I have lived and worked in Provo for many years. In fact, I went to Edgemont Elementary, Farrer Junior High School, Timpview, and even graduated from BYU, where my parents and even grandparents taught for many years. And I've worked in the digital and technology space for about 20 years now, and in product management, product marketing, in operations, and doing a lot of different things, interfacing with engineering and sales and products and building things together. And so what I'm bringing to the city council race and to the city, hopefully, is experience building coalitions, bringing people together, and maybe a new vision and new outlook for what we could bring to Provo and what we can build here. So I love the city. I love the way that it's growing, and I love our citizens. We have some of the most involved and caring citizens on earth, and I'm really excited to be the voice for everybody in the city.
Wow. You make me want to say wow. Let me ask you the first question, because this is part of some of the things you said.
All right.
You know, we've been touting a lot of the fact that Provo's been on a lot of lists in the last couple of years, 2, 3, 4th place, whatever it is. I want to know what list you would like Provo to be on as a number 1 and why.
Okay. Wow, that's a good question. I think I have 2 answers, if that's okay. I would love to see Provo School District ranked in the top 5 school districts in the entire nation. I think we have such great educators and a really great public school system, and I think we need to be recognized for that. And I think that we can do even more things to make sure our school district would be ranked in the top 5. And then, you know what I would really love to see? I would love to see Provo being the number 1 city for women and girls in education and in opportunity and in achievement. I think we have a little ways to go there, and I think we could possibly do it, and that would be really great for our city.
That would be great for the city. There's not very many women out there.
Lots of talented women.
Yeah, but leadership. This is why you're running. I think I've read some of the things that you would like to see some of that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me ask you this question. Both citywide candidates, that would be you and George Stewart, are talking about maintaining Provo's quality of life. What specifically do you think Provo needs to do that it's not already doing to improve and maintain the quality of life for its residents?
That's a great question again. I think that we have been really great and fiscally conservative over the past 10 years to make sure that our city's on a strong financial foundation. And what I'd like to see now is us in making sure that we're investing in our transportation and in our infrastructure to keep our quality of life. Really, if you can't get clean water when you need it, if flooding is a concern, if we're not able to provide basic services for our residents, then that would be a real problem and a real concern to our quality of life. And so I want to make sure we're investing now before those things become a problem in the future. That's what I'd really like.
Okay, thank you so much. That's great. The third question. The economy and budgets are always a priority for Provo's residents. What concerns you about the current city budgets and our economic base in Provo?
Okay. You know, we weathered the Great Recession in Provo, and that means that the city had to take a long, hard look at our budgets and what we were spending on and how to make sure that we were meeting our obligation to the public and at the same time being really fiscally conservative with what we were given. And that means that the city cut their budget by millions of dollars over the past few years. And I think that was the right thing to do. We needed to do that, make sure that we're doing more with less and meeting the obligation to the public. And Right now, I think we have an opportunity because our economy is so strong and we have some of the lowest unemployment rates in the nation to start looking at thoughtfully taking care of some of those projects that the city has not taken care of. And that means capital improvements, that means investing in our infrastructure to move the city forward and keep it a place that we want to live. We have a really great economy right now, but we can do more to diversify. I want to make sure that we have the right technologies here, that we have great retail options for the city, and that we're building a broad economic base that can withstand anything that comes for it. And that means being fiscally conservative, and that means a little bit of vision when we're looking at the city moving forward.
Okay, great. And there's lots of questions I could ask you off of that, but I'm going to ask you this question. And it has to do with the city council and the administration, because we've heard lots of talk about that. They both have varied roles in running this city day to day. Are their roles complementary and in sync with each other right now, or does it need improvement? And as a council member, how would you improve the role of the council?
Okay, so I come from the tech space, and we have a saying in digital space, which is best idea wins. And that means that no matter where an idea comes from, if it's the most data-driven decision, if it's the best decision for all of us moving forward, it doesn't matter where it came from, as long as we all agree and have a consensus about what we want to do moving forward. The best idea, no matter where it comes from, wins. And so that's the way I would approach the city council and the administration, is I don't care if an idea comes from the council, from the administration, or directly from the public. If it's the best idea, if it makes the most financial sense, if it's data-driven, that's how we should move forward. I'm not here to be an obstructionist. I don't believe in that. I don't think that the process between the mayor's office and the council needs to be adversarial. It also means that we don't roll over. It means that we ask the hard questions, but we try to work together to build something great. That's my ideal working relationship, is a functional working relationship.
Okay, that's great. Now, I'm going to ask you a question that
Okay.
this might be kind of a fun one to think about. We were talking earlier about the fact that you grew up in Provo.
I did.
You grew up in Provo, and your competitor was your mayor.
He was, yeah.
He was your mayor. And you said you worked on the council, the youth council with George Stewart. And so I got to ask you this question. He's a baby boomer. You're Generation X, and probably with your technology, you're a little bit more millennial. That's a big gap.
Sure.
And I need to find out from you how your generation is moving this city and wants to move this city differently. Maybe that's a perspective, but differently than, say, our candidate who's a baby boomer, who's a World War II, Korean, Vietnam era, as compared to a 21st century. What's the difference in the ages, and how are you going to approach that?
You know, first of all, I want to say that George has given this city decades of really great public service, and that needs to be recognized. And he's done so much for this community. But what it also means is that maybe it's time for some new vision and some new ideas going forward. And maybe some of the differences are that I'm not scared of change in Provo. I'm excited for change and what that could mean for the city. And that means that approaching things with fresh eyes and maybe thinking outside of the box a little bit on what we could do to keep the city such a great place to raise our families and keep our neighborhoods strong and really build our sense of community. And that could mean looking at mixed-use developments. It could mean redeveloping areas that we haven't already seen. It means putting high-density housing in really appropriate areas inside of our city. And starting to think of Provo not as the sleepy town that we grew up in, going down to Woolworths on Center Street, and you know all of the great things that we had, and down to Reams for 10-cent hot dogs, all of that. Now it's time for a new generation to start looking at what Provo can be in the future and start planning for that. That means I want to make sure that we're keeping young families here to keep the city revitalized, that we're bringing in different kinds of technologies and different kinds of industry to the city to keep a really great economic base. And so I think maybe it's time for a little bit of vision and something different inside the city.
Great, thanks, Carina.
Thank you.
Well, residents of Provo, there you go. Those are the questions, those were the answers. Now you choose. Hope you have a good day. Thanks.